Whose side are you on, Stella? Whose side? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, friends, I think y'all know by now that our driveway was washed out. I also think that y'all know by now that Lester's idea is to put a cattle guard over it, because I'm sure that'll be fine. Let me tell you why it's not. This side, anything that didn't go in the pond was going to flow here instead of here. And then you had the dam breach, and all of that is pushing here. So now you have pressure in the front, pressure in the back, and the pressure in the front brought rocks, dirt, sand all the way down and actually clogged.
I'm laughing at pressure in the front and pressure in the back.
Shh, I don't have another word. So you know how when a man gets an idea in his head and he can't see any other way because he thinks that he's so right? I mean, like, really, really right? And even when you gingerly try to bring things up and you're like, well, what about this or what about that? And it turns into this big fiasco. No, just me. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is called The Great Divide because there's a great divide right here on Longhorn Lester's. That's right. The biggest divide of all divides ever. Let me show you. Let me deposit before I withdraw. Lester's idea is the least expensive way to solve. It's the least expensive way. Lester is working very hard at his idea. But I have to tell you, I don't agree. I don't think this is the right way to solve. I don't think that building a bridge over dirt with water that rushes through it is going to solve anything. And let me show you why. Okay, this man of mine, who is working his tail off, you can't see him right now because he's literally in the ditch. That's right, the Great Divide is metaphorical and physical in this video because the Great Divide divides the road and the rest of our property, and we no longer have a driveway to exit and come and go freely. No, we have a Great Divide, and Lester and I have a Great Divide because he thinks that putting a cattle guard over the top is going to solve for all of this disaster, and I have really bad news for him. It's not going to work. This is a great debate that's caused a whole lot of riff in our home, and I thought that I would show you my idea on top of whatever he's got going on down here. So Lester thinks that the water that is causing the washout comes from the driveways. The driveway, this side of the driveway and that side of the driveway. Now, I don't disagree that some water washes down here, but that's not the majority of the reason. All of the water from this side happens to flow behind the bulkhead. The bulkhead is that wooden wall that sort of holds the driveway up. There is water that comes here, but it's not enough to be able to wash that out. Lester's idea is to build two walls. They actually go like this, a wall here, and then the cattle guard is like a bridge. It goes over top, but it'll stretch the whole width of the driveway. And he thinks it's gonna work. And I have really bad news for him. The water that rushes along here, that runs down this driveway, sure, that'll drip. But the water that caused the washout is because the water that breached the dam took all kinds of rock and chunks of dirt with it and clogged the hole in front of the bulkhead. Then you had all the water that's rushing off of this hill, not just the driveway. If you notice, it slopes here and then it starts to come down towards the middle. In theory, it's supposed to flow through the big culvert that we had right there, which turns out wasn't big enough at all. But the people, the pond guys and the people that lived here before didn't have this fully engineered the right way. You see, I'm walking down here. I promise I'm trying to keep steady, and I'm also trying not to rock the boat or, cause more problems of this Great Divide. But once you get closer, you see that the bulkhead was actually where the lowest part of this land flowed to. Behind it. Behind it. So where was water magically? Hello?
Taking videos?
Yes.
Scared me.
Sorry. So the water, while the intention was to have it flow in front of the bulkhead and go underneath the driveway, how could it when the lowest point was right here? So all of a sudden you have water from this side, all of this side. Anything that didn't go in the pond was going to flow here instead of here. And then you had the dam breach, and all of that is pushing here. So now you have pressure in the front, pressure in the back, and the pressure in the front brought rocks, dirt, sand all the way down and actually clogged.
I'm laughing at pressure in the front and pressure in the back.
Shh, I don't have another word.
I don't know why that makes sense.
I don't have another word. All of a sudden though, oh boy, you're a wreck. That's something right there. I see you got giant posts in the ground though today.
Oh, I had 3 from yesterday when you were not even here. From
Wow.
your travel day, and then these 3 here today.
I'm sorry, I'm making a video about how I think this is a bad idea. Because
you refuse to listen to the engineering thing behind it. And if you shut your mind off to this idea, then you're not going to get it until you see it put into action. You
so,
want to come on down and I'll explain to you how it's going to work?
nope, I'm not coming nowhere.
Huh?
Nope. So, now you have muck and mud and rock that's stuck in front of the culvert and can't drain. You can see that that's still the case. And the culvert is literally outside right now anyway. So you have sludge, nasty sludge. But no matter what you do, the water that comes off this pond and off the land from here.
Get Stella back.
Come on, Stella. 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 I don't want to scare her. Stella. Come on. You have water from this side of the property and this side of the property that's all going to make its way right here. And if there's a cattle guard, it's basically like a grate and it's going to drip down. And over time, because this should go downhill to move it back out towards the river, what will happen is the dirt and the concrete that these posts are being put in will eventually erode too. And it will go out, and then all of a sudden the cattle guard will collapse, hopefully when no one's standing on top of it. I know, I don't understand the engineering. I've never experienced a cattle guard.
It's fair that this your video, that's what you're saying, because you are a video creator / influencer, and people are going to believe what you're saying because you refuse to listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
All I know is that we're trying Lester's way because he's right. It is the least expensive. It's the way that he knows how to solve.
Hi, sweetie.
And he's doing it himself, and I'm proud of him for that. Like I said, I deposited before I withdraw. And I came
over and I'll show you.
Huh?
Why don't you walk over and I'll show you?
I'm here. And if I come closer, then the dogs come closer. And I don't know where to walk over to.
Okay. I don't know how much you want to. There's going to be walls. I am standing in the corridor. There will be walls on each side. There's the wall material on the trailer. There will be walls that will extend from that bulkhead all the way past our driveway to these 4x6s over here. You see them in the ground?
Yes.
By the goat.
Yeah.
Okay, there will be a wall on each side. Now, behind the wall will be concrete. Concrete will fill in all of that space, all this space, lots of concrete. Behind this wall, concrete. The floor will be concrete, 3-4 inches deep of concrete. It'll be a big, massive concrete floor and walls. Now on this side will be 2x12 as a channel. We will have to remove some panels.
I was just going to ask you about that piece because so the plan has changed a little bit. So I guess the Great Divide isn't all the way divided anymore.
So these 2 panels will be removed. So these are 2x12. So that's going to give you 24 inches times 8 foot wide. Well, not quite 8 foot, but close enough. And all that water will push all the way down through here, running between the walls. It'll never go around because it'll be full of concrete. The space will be occupied by concrete. It can never go under because it'll be concrete. And all of the water from the driveway And on the hills that run over to here, because it's a cattle guard / bridge, it'll fall right through into this void, which will be carried down the creek to the river. It's going to work.
Well, I will say that your addition of those concretes on the sides and bottom is a new change that I hadn't heard yet, and that was one of my asks. So I'm happy to hear that that is going to be put in place. Can I help you?
Nope, just in my Crocs.
Oh my gosh.
I need to be on the other side, actually. Why did I come up there? I feel like if I'm closer to you, I have more power.
Oh, is that what it is? So the cattle guard actually isn't about keeping animals out or in or anything like that. It has nothing to do with animals. It's a bridge type essentially that we can get our hands on that isn't a commercial piece. And that's the now solve. And Lester swears it's a forever solve. And here's my idea.
I've been a part of many cattle guard projects. No, I've never been the head of any projects, but I've done and worked on many of them. And this is the most extensive and biggest project or undertaking ever. Of all the fencing, of all the building, this is the biggest project ever. But I have a vision.
And I'm not interrupting it, and that's what I said in the video, is like I'm letting him go forward with his plan and not throwing too much of a fit unless I absolutely know something needs something. And I kind of threw a concrete fit, and it appears that I might have made some headway. Here's part of this though. The thing that I told Lester is concrete size, concrete bottom is important. We have to get the angle or the grade of it right because it has to flow downhill. It has to flow downhill, and it has to be where the water cannot go below it over here. So it's got to be at the right height to be able to create that flow that goes downhill. The other piece, this is probably phase 2 to this project. I'm from up north. We build basements. We lay forms and pour concrete. The back side of this, in my opinion, needs to have concrete slabs. So when the water does run over, guess what? It runs on concrete. It can't take anything with it. It needs a concrete ditch. This also needs a concrete ditch all the way from that low bridge. Number 1, that's safer for our animals to walk through. Number 2, all of this mess can't rush down to this spot and clog it ever again if there's concrete. I know that's a lot of concrete, but it sure feels like a forever solve because I think that concrete is mostly forever. I would love to concrete the whole dam on the top. I don't think that that's phase 1 or 2 or even 3, but we have to do something to save the pond, number 1. We have to do something to get this to where water can't stand here anymore, and when it does come downpouring like it did, which I guess is a once every 100 years that we've experienced twice now, event, that it has to have a way to flow where it can't take anything with it. I still think a big square concrete culvert with wings and a floor that comes out is probably the right answer. That would have to be brought in here with a crane and is very expensive to install and put in. I also think that this area right here has to be higher so that the water finds a way to go in front of it instead of back here. I think that's a very critical part. And is your cattle guard just going to go to these 4x6s then?
No.
Is it?
No, these are going to be cut.
No. The 4x6s on the side, like, how, is it going to extend to the fence, or where does the cattle guard go to?
The cattle guard will only extend to the 4x6s.
So no matter what, back here has to be higher.
Off from the animals. It will be concreted down, out, and it'll be a big old V of concrete, so it can't wash off. It'll wash. Rain will come down into it and flow right on through here.
Okay. I think that bulkhead needs support though.
Okay, my wall. Remember the wall I'm going to build?
Yeah?
The wall will go all the way to there.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure about that part. But
now I'm not sure about it.
because there's no way, you have to have something to back up that wall.
Oh, no. Remember, so the concrete will fill to the top. And so it'll flow over here into the, yeah.
Huh?
All of this will not stay void. This is going to be full of concrete.
Then how's the water going to get underneath of it to here?
It's going to come, it'll come towards me and fall over the wall. This will all be void. And this is where the wall will, all the way to that wall there, there'll be 2 walls connecting. And this will all be a wall. And the water will flow over this. When I hand that water, it will be full. And water will not fall till it gets to here.
Okay, what's going to keep this wall from moving?
You mean moving this way?
Mm-hmm.
The wall that's going to go this way is going to push into it. I see I got more posts to put right there along that wall where they're all going to connect. My walls are all going to connect.
Okay.
It'll all be supported together.
Okay.
It's going to take a long week or so to start seeing the shape of it come together. And then you forgot one important thing.
Oh.
You said the most important thing is the pond, but I think the most important thing is getting our route back up our driveway. Because right now we have,
well, that is
our
important.
only way in and out is we can't use the spillway. We only can use around the barn, and we don't have roads built over there. So we're at the mercy of Mother Nature to stay dry, because otherwise we'll get stuck and have to park our cars over here.
No,
and use a tractor or the 4-wheeler to get back and forth.
I agree that the driveway is critical. I just mean that the pond not bursting is also pretty critical. Hold on a second.
Be sweet. Wanda, they just want to visit and help us.
Wanda's having a moment. Where are you going like that? That's the best tan that you've had all year, by the way. That's pretty impressive. That's probably going to leave a little bit of a stain, I'm not going to lie. You got a little bit on your face, and you're not going in the house like that.
Spray off.
Oh, you want me to spray you off? That sounds great. Can't wait. That, friends, is the Great Divide. Yeah.
Commence the spray down. She's a maniac, and I still know. And she's dancing like she's never danced before. Maniac. On the floor. On the floor?
I don't know.
She's dancing like she never danced before. Oh, that's cold. Why did you do that? I'm not dirty up here. Just
You
stop.
are dirty.
Cut. Jeez, Jamie.